and they have all, AI and ML has become almost like a core course now. And I do see that some of you are probably from the AI ML specialization. That's what the director sir was telling me in the morning, that now you have a specialization focused on AI ML. So great. But only about 150 higher education institutes. I'm sure this probably is one in that 150. Do you know how many higher education institutes are there in India? Roughly, ballpark. Ballpark. 1,000, 5,000, 50,000. What do you think is the number? Give me a number. How much do you think? How many higher education institutes are there in India? Hundreds? 200s? Requirements, and that's what the education policy, all the framework that you're talking about, there's Bharat AI, that is Bhashini, and many other things have all been designed with Indian context and solving India's specific problems. The growth, obviously, not, I mean, if you look at the global, that number is small, but if you look at it from what the growth, anticipated growth, 2.5 times from 2023 to 2020, just a window of 4 years. So if a batch who joined this institute in 2023 roles, right? A prompt engineer never existed before. 2 years before, nobody knew what a prompt engineer is. Nobody knows what a chatbot developer is. What is a conversational AI designer? When we talk about multimodal AI, we need to have a conversational AI designer. Never had these roles in the past. So these are new roles coming up, and there are people who have to take up these new roles. So when we talk about AI replacing traditional roles, yes, some traditional roles will go away, but these new roles are the where the AI, I mean, people can play a significant value add here by adopting or becoming, getting trained in these areas and being able to become experts in these areas. And this is a new emerging field. There are no experts worldwide. So if you start working, you will probably be one of the earliest ones and become probably the expert in this area. Okay? High paying jobs. And this is, remember this, see the bottom here. Skilled profession, they are not looking for, can you still hear me? Okay. They are not looking for people with very high experience, because remember what you saw the previous chart, right? 65% of range in terms of how good or how based on you know how good you are. You have a huge range in terms of trust me, it's not going to happen. Because like we saw there, right, in 4 years things change. Okay, nobody knew that ChatGPT existed 4 years ago. Suddenly, you know, it's come and, you know, it disrupted a lot of our lives. Which means that by the time your college cannot, you know, institutes cannot, education institutes cannot react at short notices. So it is, if your career is at stake, it's your responsibility to make sure that you pick up the skills you need. Of course, the college is there to help pick up the whatever the college provides. In addition to that, please focus on picking up new skills so that you can be relevant in the new world. No dearth of jobs. If you see the first few jobs, they are all AI related. But in addition to that, there is a lot of these are AI related. In addition to that, there is a skill, communication skill. So the ability to present what you know, the ability to discuss your ideas, all those are relevant as well. Okay. So this is again just based on the number of job postings. And it's not, I mean, if you see, it's a huge gap. There is a lot of industry waiting to, you know, acquire or hire such people. We have a lot of graduates, but unfortunately there is not a huge, there seems to be some kind of a mismatch. The matching is not happening. Okay? And that's where, you know, I would strongly urge that you all kind of pay attention to this, figure out what you want to do. Again, what is your passion? Don't have to be everything. Look for problems that are big, and then you will be able to make a huge difference. Of course, not all solutions can solve only with AI. So it's not a single hammer. While I've been talking a lot on AI so far, doesn't mean that that's the only tool in town. There's lots that we can do, and I would request you to kind of take that into cognizance as well. That it's not just AI. Any questions? Okay. Let me move on to the next part of my talk, which is on cybersecurity. I've spent enough time on AI. I hope you are convinced that yes, there is a lot of potential for this, and what you read is not necessarily what is happening. Okay, let me start with a story here, just like I did before. 2017 June. Okay, can you see these two countries? A big country and a small country. Do you recognize these two countries? What are they doing now? They're still fighting. Okay, 2017 also they started fighting, whatever. But these two countries, there is a story that happened here. There is a large shipping company based out of Ukraine called Maersk. It's a global company. It has offices in more than 76 countries. They operate more than 800 ships, freight ships that carry these big containers. Okay, lot of many companies, including automobile, pharma, all these companies rely on these ships to carry their goods from wherever they are manufactured to the market where they will be sold. So the big companies, you name it, pretty much everybody uses. Maersk is one of the larger ones. Everybody uses Maersk for some form or the other. Okay. So they have about presence in 130 countries, 76 ports, 80,000 employees, all that. Why am I saying this? So in June 2017, they got attacked by a malware. How did it happen? Across all their offices, there was one computer in Ukraine which had a version of malware was so vicious, it deleted everything, all the files. Okay, none of these machines could be rebooted, none of these systems could come up, and Maersk was the worst hit because they were the starting point for this malware, and entire things were down. So because of that, they could not book shipments. There were truckloads of such huge shipments coming in. They come to the port, they can't load it on the ship because the loading software is not working. They can't figure out, the merchandise that is already on the way to getting shipped, they can't figure out where it is in the world. So there was a lot of chaos that was happening because of all these systems going down. The entire company went down. And it took 600 people working over Fortunately, they had backups, of course, but to bring back the backup also, they needed all the basic systems to be up and running. So the way they were able to recover was, among all the servers, there was one server in Ghana, which fortunately during the time that single system did not get impacted. These guys realized it. They got the hard disk from there shipped, not even shipped, actually hand carried from Ghana all the way to England, London, where they created a team for about 600 people, got together in London to build up their entire system over a 2-week period. Okay, they were lucky that there was this one single hard disk available in Ghana that they were able to bring it. It was more than 10 billion. Maersk as a company probably suffered around 300 million dollars in damage in terms of Merck. They suffered a lot more. So in today's connected world, a that how critical this field is in terms of the dollar impact that it can have. Again, if you see from the previous story to this story, I'm just trying to kind of tell you that focus on problems that can have significant impact. Okay, so you can see some of the companies what kind of impacts the dollar impact that they had just because of a 2-week outage of
organize each of people who are in the exam. So, hearing them talk, 1 hour talk from many of them, very good contributing for understanding what is happening. Do I consider myself an expert in AI? No, not at all. Not by the law. So, fine. Consider myself an expert in cybersecurity? No. Try to understand what the domain is. Try to understand what the task is. Try to understand where it is focus. Try to understand that yes, what was provided are not necessarily enough for you to stay relevant. And that's what I use this platform to kind of do it. Go by answer to question. Next one. Not come back and ask me again. AI is killing all my jobs. I was okay. Strongly manipulated. I know that there are thoughts that are still. Yeah, again, I am not saying that it's not important. Think you have been not paid. You give too much of what else to know. Sometimes that your type of how is not there to see yet. Yes, we will get there. I have no doubt that we will get there. In my lifetime, I don't know. But definitely we will get. But one so strong means that we keep reading. AI is responsible for everybody losing their jobs. TCS has fired 12,000 people. Google has fired 10,000. Intel has fired 20,000. What is working AI? What Intel fired 20,000 AI was. Well, even if they are probably over-invested during COVID time, they over-invested, they hired more than what they wanted. And report is out. Happy hiring more people. And now suddenly they have a fleet of employees and they are all taking it. Not to say that AI is not playing, yes, the productivity has improved, saw some examples, definitely yes. But that is one textbook that I strongly believe, which is wrong, where that AI is replacing everyone. That there is no role for operations. Absolutely. I have already shared the numbers here. You can see the numbers. And you see, so if you want to be relevant, you have to obviously stay relevant. You have to come up, no doubt of it. But yeah, this is what I okay. Whether it's going to research or whether it's going to the internet. See, research is very, very, I'm not good. It is hard. It is difficult. You need a very, very strong belief in yourself and you need a strong support system to carry it. You will hit a lot of failures, lots. But then there come a time when you get past those failures, you will kind of achieve your success. That will show you how resilient you are, how strong you are, what strong, personally how strong you are, and personally how strong your support. All of this is important to your personal research career. In my view, it's not, again, I'm not discouraging very, very satisfying when you achieve your see some of the work that you see the impact, right? When you do research and you are able to impact, when you see the smile on somebody's face, when you see somebody coming and thanking you for the good work that you've done, which has led to somebody's life getting saved or somebody's career changing, their project, their overall social value going up. See, there are many ways in which you can find it. So, if your research is bringing that kind of a benefit, definitely, the satisfaction that you will get is there's no, I can't describe that feeling in any other. Having said that, that does require to get to that success, you do have crossed a lot of obstacles on your own with the support of your support group, and that's not an easy. So, research career is it's like a double-edged sword. The results are amazing, but the path to get to that amazing it's like climbing Mount Everest, right? I'm sure those who climb Mount Everest, they know the challenges, they know how hard it is to climb. But yeah, being on the summit has a very, very heady feeling, right? It's exactly that. Research is that along those. It is very hard, but the end result is going to be good. Work on the right problem that can impact society, impact the nation, nothing like. So you see some of the research that people have done, right? Now, read about them, especially what was used in war in terms of helping the farmers, in terms of helping the various communities, the digital payment research that has gone into it. There's lots that you can think of where a lot of research has yielded so much of impactful output. So if you are able to get those kind of outcomes, the feeling that you have is just indescribable. Industry, of course, industry does change every 3 years, 5 years. You need to keep upskilling, getting out. You have to stay relevant. There is no shortcut for continuous. No shortcut. Technologies change, the environment changes, the ecosystem changes, roles that you want to play will change. The slots that will change as well. So each of them have their own pluses and minuses. So I have a preference one over the other. I just want to share my thoughts on what how you should go about proceeding.
Then now,
Okay, great questions. Some slides are over. Are there any questions from the audience? There's a question. No out of syllabus question, please.
company sir, so I did put the question the slides, but we couldn't get it. So the question is, I'm a last year BTech student. So whenever I'm looking for a job opportunity, so what happens in Walton College is at some point people get interested in cybersecurity and ethical hacking. But as soon as they get into final year, they directly go to the by default mode of getting a software development engineering job. So because a lot of campuses are recruiting only FC intern jobs and not that it's cyber intern job. So my question is, when will this switch from an SD intern to cybersecurity intern? And if it have to, how these students should get the flow of or get indulged into the expertise of cybersecurity? Thank you.
Thank wonderful question and very relevant. So why do people choose SDE? Because that's easy to get it or easier to get. Like I've been talking about, right? Is there a dearth of cybersecurity jobs? There is a huge gap. How much was it? 2025. How many jobs are open? Cybersecurity. India. 1.5 million. How many engineers graduate? Probably 1.5 million. That means there is a job for every engineer to graduate. Okay. In the area of cybersecurity. Just cybersecurity. Now, why are we not able to get in? Because what colleges teach is going to be only the base knowledge. They may do one course in cryptography, one course in network, whatever, I don't know. Whatever they cover. Cloud security, cloud not even touch. So, for you to be able to bring value to the organization in a cyber security related goal, there are two skills that kind of listed about 9, 10 skills that are relevant today. They will change maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years, maybe there will be plus minus here or there. But there are those 9 or 10 skills that are there in the cybersecurity domain, which currently the institute don't probably cover to the extent it. Yeah, you learn about cryptography, you probably do theoretical study, write exam, and you're done. But ability to apply that to a practical problem is really missing. Now, how can you fix it? Can you blame the college? No. Don't blame the college for, colleges have to provide a broad-based education. They are building the base for you, and that's what you should take for the college of. Career is in whose hands? College or yours? Individual, right? Each one of you is responsible for your career. So, what will you do differently? So, let's say in your second year, you decide that you want to get a cyber security job. What will you do differently in your third year, fourth? Okay. So, what would you do differently in third and fourth year? You will have to pick up the skills that we talked about. Do you want to become an expert in identity management? Huge set of challenges. How do you prove who you are? Okay. Is biometric good enough? Can people clone your fingerprint? Can people, take your Aadhaar card? Can your OTP go to somebody else's mobile? Yes. Well, these are just understandable identity management. Similarly, you look at, encryptedness. You look at, risk management. You look at, policies, government, privacy, scats, all of these. And then, of course, depending on where, all of them require specialized skills. Are there courses available? Yes. We need to just figure out which ones. Are there certifications available? Yes. So if you put your mind, right, the 2 years that you have decided to become a cybersecurity expert, go and pick up one or two such additional skills slash certification. Suddenly the world opens up. Okay? And I haven't even talked about bounty hunting and things like that where you get paid huge amounts of dollars for fixing or finding bugs with Microsoft website, or Google's website, or Google's products, Microsoft Office products, a lot of things. Because lots of it's a very, very attractive business. Attractive career if you are so inclined. Yeah, it does require you to be logical in your thinking. It does require you to be patient, persistent. It's not bugs are not going to come, direct failure. Spend a lot of time. But again, when you find one, when you fix one, the pleasure that you get, the thrill that you have, there is always a possibility one world go. Anybody else?
Yes, any other questions?
No? Who there?
Yes. Question is that, as you said, AI is like advancing the rapid speed. So which are the skills which cannot be replaced by AI in the upcoming future that I want to know? Like, is there any skills that we can start learning from now on which cannot be replaced by any AI or future model?
Yeah. See, what does AI do? Fair to ask. What is AI good at? I'm asking the question back to you so that I get to
Read an article.
Yeah.
Yeah, so explain that front end is something that there is no need of any front end engineer. Like that's what I know.
Yeah.
Or you just type a prompt and you get a beautiful front end from the chat itself. So I think these are the things that are in right now.
Yeah.
For the AI. Yeah. And that's what. So is there any skill that you cannot replace by AI? That's sure.
So, if you ever were to kind of look at it this way, right? See, AI is a tool. It's a hammer. Okay. What does a hammer do? There is a nail, you can bang it. Then a nail goes. Now with that nail, what can you do? You can fix a door, you can make a table, you can make a chair. So where does the value come in is, are you focusing on table or a chair or whatever else? So the analogy, the counter analogy, basically, or the equivalent in the computing world, you have to look at the problem. See, if you start with what can AI do, is not going to look at it. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? And of course, why are you solving it? Most important thing is there has to be motivation to solve the problem. Is that the right problem? Will it have an impact? So the example that I was talking about, right? I just talked about one here, right? Many, many, many such examples. Whether it is you want to improve the farmer's life, but you want to improve the doctor's life, or you want to improve patient's life, or you want to improve, retail logistics, get your food delivered in 10 minutes, all that. What is the problem you're solving and what is the impact? So the why and the what are the most important things. Okay, it is very difficult, or for that matter, AI cannot solve these. Okay. So if you have a problem, what problem to solve and how to go about it? When you come down the technology, yes, AI can be again, AI is your assistant, not a complete. When you said that front end will get developed, without anybody getting involved. Yes, Probably to a large extent, yes, but there is still thoughts that when these go wrong, who's going to fix it? Say you ask Copilot to generate the content. Copilot generated something, you built it. You clicked a button, something did not work. It gave an error. Who's going to fix it? Yeah, you can ask Copilot again and say, hey, I'm getting this error, fix it. I think Copilot will be very quick. If you knew that there was an error, it would not have generated that erroneous code in the first place. Right? Probably did not even know that the error. So the challenge is how do you use this tool? Learning the tools is one. How do you use the tool to solve the problem? And is that the right tool to solve the problem? If you have a nail, yes, you need a hammer. But if the problem does not have, is not a nail, something else, it's a screw. You need a screwdriver to solve it. So the right picking the right set of tools is as important as solving the problem itself. So the why, the what, and picking the right tools. These are three things that the human way is far, far better than any of the other. Once you've figured out all this, using AI to assist you so that instead of taking few weeks to develop this solve the problem, the code to solve the problem, you ask AI to solve it, you can do it in a weekend or in a week. That is where the AI really surpasses the human level. Hope I was able to answer your question.
Good afternoon, sir. So it is said that once we share any data to over the internet, it is impossible to wipe that data off the internet. So is this true, and how to act against it if some data that we share gets leaked somewhere? So recently, a few years ago, Truecaller's data was leaked.
Yeah.
So how can we, as an individual, act against?
We have to be extremely careful. See, that's the unfortunate part of today's world, right? Uh, Especially these models. Right? Once it is there on the internet, you also don't know how many copies of your data are floating on the legitimate websites. And then there are dark websites where if it is a useful data, the data still keeps lurking around. You don't even have an entry into those dark websites. So, yeah, if you have shared your data has been leaked, and it is unfortunate. I don't think there is a foolproof way to even prove that all the data is leaked. So, what are the things that we need to do? Yeah, we need to be extremely careful the data we share. Today, you see, that power of the media, right? The social media or television, they are now highlighting the risks of cybersecurity. To share okay, to click on phishing links, all this because many of the victims, I showed you the number, right? 177 crore or whatever. Many of the victims are people who are not tech savvy. They just look at something, click, and then they realize that they have been, put in this digital arrest or they have lost money, whatever, right? And of course, they have shared their personal. All of it is due to the chat. Now, sometimes your personal data gets leaked without your control, right? You share it with a trusted person, trusted company, that company like Truecaller. Trust Truecaller to protect your data. Caller data gets leaked, what can it? Tesla, very recent, 2 months, 3 months back, Tesla had a major data, right? Where people leak data about some of the problems of Tesla that the buyers of Tesla vehicle are having. They did, disclose all the private information about the individual. Did the individual have a say in it? No. So that's the world we are living in, unfortunate. But it's a connected world. So we are all interdependent on each other. So if by some stroke of misfortune your data gets leaked, it's unfortunate that we can do anything for it. But yeah, there are some best practices that people follow, right? Don't use the same password for every one of your sites. How many passwords do you all have on an average? Let's start counting. How many mails do you have? 3 mail address at least. College ka, personal Gmail, one junk email, blah blah blah, all that. Then you are all in social media, LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook, Twitter. you name it. You can keep adding. And then what else? Banks. You're using bank accounts, bank deposits. So on an average, people have about 25 to 27 passwords. Is it humanly possible? No. They are using a good password manager. How to choose a password manager? Yeah, all your passwords are there. If something happens, what can you do? Right? So you should always be prepared that yes, something bad could happen. You have to protect yourself. You have ways to take care of in case things go wrong. You may be unlucky that things go wrong without your personal responsibility there. You have shared with the trusted one that happened. Then you have to take corrective actions. Take the corrective, changing the password, making sure everything's correct, all that. Can your phone get stolen? Yes, it can get stolen. You're walking around, somebody can pick up your phone and run away. What do you do about it? Yeah, okay. Now you figure out the ways. So that's where you're well prepared right from the beginning in terms of putting your password, whether you can change them, making sure your data is not have your backups of that data. In case somebody changes your data, you have backup. All that is part of the best practices as an Indian. But yeah, there is no foolproof way today that I know of where you can say with 100% guarantee that your data has been violated. Having said that, yes, there are tools where whichever the data sharing platforms are there, they follow governance practices. They will ensure that they will delete the data and so on. But then there is always going to be enough and more volume of the data floating out, which will have. Any other question? Yeah, there are two questions.
Good afternoon, sir. Since now we use a lot about Web3, AI is also booming, and you also said cybersecurity. So today, as a student, shall I more focus on depth over a certain area or the breadth of knowledge over a lot of areas?
Should you focus on depth or breadth? Okay. Let me answer it a little differently. Many people would have probably answered similar kind of question. The general belief is that to have a broad understanding of multiple. Obviously, you cannot be a master of everything. Okay? There's this, the symbol phi, right? The mathematical symbol phi. So there's a horizontal line and it has two legs. So the horizontal line is the breadth of your knowledge that you need to have. You have very broad understanding of multiple things. You can't just say, I will only do, because these are all interrelated. You can say, okay, I don't need to do cybersecurity, then suddenly AI will play a role in cybersecurity. You don't understand AI. Web3 may play a role in cybersecurity, or Web3 may play a role in AI, so you need to understand that. So there's no single technology by itself that is good. You need a breadth, which is what curriculum, college curriculum means. And the two legs of the part. One is the technology. One technology is to create a core team where you can kind of call yourself that yes, you have spent enough time to call yourself a reasonably good expert in that. But technology is just one way. There is the domain part. Domain part is whether it is application of technology. See, today technology by itself has no major life. Technology is always applied to a domain, whether it is banking, whether it is healthcare, whether it is agriculture, whether it is retail, hospitality. You name it, technology has a role to play. Why is Flipkart hiring a lot of people? Why is Zepto hiring a lot of people? Zepto is not in the technology. Zepto is in the retail business, but they are hiring people because they believe that there is a lot of value in technology being applied to a cloud. Now, is 10-minute delivery important? I don't know, but if 10 minutes is important, they have a way to solve. But you see the kind of problem they're solving. To meet that 10-minute window, they have now created their own map. So that the delivery boy doesn't have, they don't believe that Google map is good enough. They have developed their own map for. So that the delivery boys can know, and they go to the level of security gate to the floor where they are going to ring the bell. That level of detail that map does not design, create. Is it a technology challenge? Yes, an amazing technology challenge. Nobody else has this kind of map. But they needed it, so they have solved it. So it's an application of technology to solve a problem in a domain. So what is the domain? The domain was delivery. How you can reach delivery of 10 minutes. Take a problem statement like that and you solve it. Is it impactful? I don't know whether it's going to impact a whole lot of people or not. But yeah, all of us are benefiting from it. Get up in the morning, don't have a toothpaste, ask Blinkit or just deliver, you get it before you going to get up and push the car. There is a place of your house. Right? Is there value in it? We can think of. Then there are problems that I was describing. There are huge societal benefit. Look at problems here. And there are organizations in India, there is in IIT Madras, they have the Center for Ethical Research to the AI. There's a lot of ethical and responsible AI. And they are doing research in ethical and responsible AI. So there is a lot of value that comes by going deep into it. In the context of applying it to a political. So if you take the pie example, in bread, and in one domain, you cannot be an expert in all domains. Pick one domain. Say, I'll be an expert in bank. I'll be an expert in retail. I'll be an expert in logistics. I'll be an expert in whatever. Pick one domain, one technology as your focus. Take how the technology solves the problem of the domain, and you will be a reasonably, good in your whatever career that you want to. Over the period of time, this technology will change. Domain, your likings may change, your aspirations may change. Then learn whatever else then you think is there. Okay. Hope I was able to answer your question. There was one more hand there. Anybody else there? What questions is that? Anybody else?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
As we know that there is no such thing as perfection, so I would like to know that where does AI lag?
AI what?
Where does AI lag?
Where is AI lacking? Oh, I think I kind of answered in the previous question as well. See, AI is good at doing what we call a repetitive tasks. But original thinking and all that, there is a huge gap in AI. Okay? Does even in these large language models, all that, do they always give you the correct answer? No. Are you able to transparently figure out what AI is doing? It's a black box. You ask a prompt, send a prompt, you get a response back. Is the prompt, is the response correct? Is there a way for AI to verify? No. And as with everything else, there is fake news and so on. So information when it is spread, you can use the same information to spread the correct news as well as fake news. So how do you verify? Let's ask this question. When the India was attacking Pakistan, there was this news that came up that Islamabad was whatever, India dropped a bomb in Islam. Every news channel carried it. How do you know whether it's true or false? They even showed images, and all that. How do you trust what somebody is saying? How do you trust that it is true? AI today does not have an easy way to show that, prove that yes, what is being showed is true or not. Yes, there are technologies because these are still the technologies evolving. It is still there are some ways to kind of figure this out, but there is a huge gap. Okay. So AI as a technology, as an assistant, yes, is helping, but it has a lot of limitations in terms of natural human ability to solve problems, ability to think critically, ability to communicate your ideas, ability to look at the big picture, ability to tell what problem to solve, what impact it will have, empathize with the people for whom you are solving the problem. None of it is AI. This is where humans come. AI can be an assistant. When you come down, finally, technology-based solution, you can ask AI to help you with the technology to improve your productivity. Even there, you have to wear two hats of caution. Whatever it generates may not be right. And even if it is right, it may be very limited. How do you extend whatever it has generated to beyond what you want that product or solution to do? Both these aspects, AI still has. Even at that level where it is supposed to be. So, hope that's a long answer, but hope you got a gist of where AI has. Nowhere close to perfection. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you so much. Your insights were for clarity for first. So let's invite the session to a close. I would like to invite specifically one co-chairs of the research chapter to deliver the program facts. Good afternoon to all. On behalf of the ACM student chapter, it is a privilege to deliver a vote of thanks. A big thank you to Dr. Venkateswaran sir for your such an insightful and inspiring talk. I would also like to thank our digital director sir, staff advisor, and faculty members for their presence and support today. A special thanks to ACM faculty mentors for their guiding us and to the main and member board for their efforts so that the event is possible. And also, I would like to thank the audience. Your energy has kept the spirit of ACM alive. Let's take this enthusiasm to next all the events. Thank you. Have a nice day. Uh, Attention everyone. Actually, there are feedback forms. There will be a scan here. So scan this and give your feedback. Alongside, there is a feedback outside telecall. So feel free, post your feedback so as we improve your events.